Welcome to the Recycle Podcast, where we discuss everyday issues from a mental health perspective. We are your hosts, Dr. Rashonda Strickland,
Dr. LaFanya Jones-Hines,
and Dr. Nichelle Wall. Now, don't get it twisted. We're not going to be your stereotypical therapist.
What we will be is informative, down to earth, a little spicy, and vulnerable.
All right, interns, turn up your volume, grab your pen and paper. It's supervision time. As a reminder, this podcast is not meant to take the place of a relationship with a licensed mental health professional.
Welcome back to Session 52, Movie Mental Breakdown, Poetic Justice, 1993.
All right, here we go. I love the movie mental breakdowns. These are my favorite ones all the time. Okay, so this is starring, we're only going to name the main four people because there's a bunch of star-studded people that play very, very small roles in this film. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it's just the main four characters. Justice is played by Janet Jackson. Tupac Shakur plays Lucky or Lawrence, as we will later learn.
Yes.
Aisha is played by Regina King, not Regina Hall. And Joe Torry plays Chicago.
Come on, Shaq Tank.
Let me open my notes back on.
Yes. Y'all, for those of you who don't know, Janet Jackson was my role model. She's a wonderful dancer, and I'm gonna one day, if anybody ever see me just break out, start dancing, that means Janet Jackson is in the midst, and I'm auditioning.
She has said that about Chris Brown as well.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if we're gonna go scene by scene for this one because a lot of the movie takes place in one location, which is them on the postal truck. Now, we may talk about scenes, but how we normally do the breakdown, well, in scene, blah, 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 blah. With this, we probably won't get that detailed with it because, like I said, most of this takes place in one area.
And it's pretty to the point movie. It's not a whole bunch that you have to unpack, but, you know, we're going to unpack a little bit.
Yes. So this movie starts off, as I say, we're not going scene by scene. Starts off with
very weird. That's
this interesting, little movie setup going on that you don't know is a movie. So if you were thinking that, like, wait, I thought I was coming to see Poetic Justice.
Yeah, because I hadn't seen this movie in a while, and when I turned it on, I was like, wait. I said Poetic Justice live stream. What are you saying?
Now they trying to show you this random comedic actress.
Yes.
And this man that you can't never tell if he white or black in all the movies he plays.
I swear I was thinking that same thing. I was like, he's got a real ambiguous kind of like vibe going with the bald head.
Yeah. And it's like two of him because he also reminds me of the guy that played in The Mummy as Hemotep, even though that's not the same person. But they are very similar, except the other guy's actually South African.
Oh, he is.
Okay.
He just had a birthday. I follow a lot of horror pages. And
of course,
they
shout out to Hemotep.
Yes,
not the actor, Hemotep.
So you see this interesting movie, and then it cuts over to Justice and her boo Markel, and they getting fresh and fast in the back of the the 88.
Yes, played by Q-Tip, who I used to have a crush on because he was just so cute.
He has a good little vibe.
Yeah, he does have a little. It's a vibrant thing.
That was a video, man.
I used to love that song.
Me too.
But they getting hot and heavy in the back. He ain't taking no for an answer.
Yeah, that little arm of hers should have got a workout that night.
Okay,
but he was being respectful in a way. It wasn't like you could tell it's playful.
It wasn't on no creep vibes.
No, it wasn't like in Sparkle.
Oh
yes. But he was being a little pushy, but he did respect her up at the end when she threw out that, curveball, and she was like, "So why you love me?" You know how we, if we're going to be stereotypical, you know how we do.
Yes.
I was just thinking, I was just wondering, why you love me?
And he gave a typical answer. Because you fine.
I know. I was like, dude, seriously?
That's all I got. My looks. What happened when I ain't got them?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Because this is justice. This ain't Janet Jackson.
Exactly.
Right.
So she ain't got the money that Janet Jackson do to stay looking good like that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, he thought about it as she was like, you know, can you go to get me some jujubes and some bonbons
And some popcorn.
from the concession stand? And then he thought about that thing for a second. He came back. He gave a much sweeter answer, we will say.
And genuine.
And genuine.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a good answer for him.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. And he said because she had wrote him all those nice poems while he was locked up.
The way he was acting, I was like, dude, did you just get out today?
I had wondered that same thing.
Well, no, because of the thugs. The thuggish, ruggish.
Oh,
part.
yeah. That's true.
Oh, yeah. But he had recently got out.
It was soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it had only been a couple weeks based off what is about to happen.
Oh, Lord.
So he heads over to the concession stand to go get her jujubes and her bonbons and her popcorn, right?
Yeah.
So then we see two dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was watching this film, I was like, I know I've seen these men before. And I could not place where I've seen it before.
It's Boys in the Hood.
They
They shot
They did.
Ricky. Not Ricky Bobby. That's a different movie. But
Mhm.
Boys in the Hood, they shot him. The person that leaned out the window with the sawed off and just shot that poor man in his back.
Yeah.
Like
I
he had got hit with the extension
remember.
cord.
I came with you.
That scene is traumatizing. And by the way, people, this movie was directed by the late great John Singleton, which also directed Boys in the Hood. So that's just kind of his thing. LA movies, LA vibes, and things of that nature. And both of the people in that movie and both of the people in this movie are brothers, the Avery brothers, as well as the dude that talks to Tupac about, hey, we about to go hit up this dude. He was also in Boys in the Hood.
He was.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
He was.
That is true.
But as is what it seems like is reminiscent of that time, considering this movie was made in 1993, based off South Central LA and what we know of their depiction. You see the two boys and they looking at Markel in the in line in the concession, and he like, hey, ain't that soul boy that we just got into it with, at the mall? And his brother like, no.
He trying to play his game like, dude, I am focused.
He was. He was super focused.
It's one of them arcade games. You ain't got all them quarters now.
Right? I need to win and get the highest score now.
Because they did not have cars back then. It was really, you was carrying change to put it in the machine.
Yes.
Right.
So he like, no. But he like, no, that's really him. I feel like that's him. His brother keeps saying no, but as you can tell when they cut over to Markel and he see, I'm looking at you, you looking at me, I'm looking at you, you looking at me.
And you could even tell the way he ordered his food, like he knew that they saw him. He was like, "Can I order some popcorn?"
So of course, he gets back to the car, and Justice, she ready now. She wasn't ready before.
She ready,
but she ready now.
After she got her answer.
You see how you give your partner what they need, and they can give you what you need. Mutually beneficial.
Yes, there you go. Because she got the verbal affirmations that she needed, and so she was getting ready to give him his physical touch that he needed.
There you go. Speaking them love languages.
Won't he do it?
Okay.
So then, unfortunately, Markel is shot execution style directly in front of Justice. Now,
I guess because that part confused me because I didn't understand if he saw the dudes, like why when he came back to the car, why didn't he just leave?
Because that's that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like if we grew up in Memphis, you're not going to leave every situation you run into somebody, that don't mean you well. You just going to be like, okay, I'm going to risk it.
Right.
Versus us who are removed from that now, it's just like,
I don't feel safe anymore.
I know.
I'm gonna leave.
Go. That's the logical thinking.
I don't even pump gas at night. You know what I'm saying? Is it bright? Because I need to know if I'm gonna risk it all and shoot somebody with the gas going.
Oh
Yeah, because then you know your little fuel light come on, be like, you trying to push your car. Make it home.
Exactly. I ain't got time.
Well, I just be like, so you gonna go get me some gas?
Okay.
No, because I need him to come back. Well, you know, you got somebody. I ain't got nobody. But when I do, I need him to come back too.
Yeah. Or I do the dangerous thing and say, I'm gonna get it in the morning.
Yes.
And be late.
Yes. Be like, I'm gonna leave 10 minutes earlier.
Yep. That's what we say. But yeah, unfortunately, he was killed directly in front of justice. And as we all know, we've talked about PTSD in various forums on different sessions throughout. That's a situation. That's a big T trauma. You know, this ain't much so. You know, this is not a little T trauma
because you witnessed a crime a crime.
Yeah. And at the same time in this scene, that stupid movie that's going on, the comedic actress, I can't ever remember her name, but she used to be on
a lot of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. The Wayne in Living Color.
I was just
so
going to
all
say
that.
Living Color.
And she's shooting the lookalike dude over nothing.
Yeah.
She didn't drink the cup, didn't have nothing in it.
That was
I'd be like, I need y'all to not do that. Y'all know I always see the random stuff in the movies.
That was just random.
Yeah.
That whole little movie scene.
Yeah.
But then, so one of my gripes about this film, and we kind of talked about this when we were processing, you know, what we wanted to talk about and stuff, was that there's no like timeline in this film. So it's kind of hard to determine once after Markel is killed and then Justice is subsequently working at the hair salon. It's kind of hard to tell how much time has passed, whether it's a few weeks, a few months, or a couple of years. So we're going to assume it's not a really long period of time, but that some has passed.
Yeah.
I wish Janet Jackson would reply to us and tell us what was in the story, the story notes.
Right. I know.
Because we don't know.
Yeah.
The only thing we know for certain is she used to be this bright, bubbly person, wore bright colors. Then she goes into this somber setting. We see her going to beauty school and all of that. And then all of a sudden, she working in a salon. But we don't know what has happened.
Yeah, because it's like she has the same set of braids from coming to school and putting the dummies in the trunk, and then it's like she goes to work.
Yeah, but she got the same hair the whole.
Yeah,
even though you can tell they shot this not in the correct order because her braids look good,
different.
Even Isha, after she got the braids done, it didn't look like freshly parted.
No.
Parted.
And even Jessie, like her press was looking
different.
Was looking fresh at the end, but was looking like sweated out in the beginning. So you know they always shoot this stuff out of order. But so that just kind of lets us know that we know some time has passed, but again, guys, we're not sure how much. But from here, there's a small little montage with the going to school and subsequently going to work, and then her walking up to the shop, and you hear this poem playing or being recited in the background. And
all of the poems in the movie is written by the late Maya Angelou.
And this is the one where it's talking about being alone, correct? Like nobody, nobody wants to be alone, or no one can. Let me read my note. No, you can't make it alone or make it out alone. And I thought that was very poignant. Just kind of given what was going on right then, because she really was alone. You know, she has really no family, as we will learn later on, but she has really no family. She only has, it sounds like, a couple of friends maybe.
And it seemed like all of them were at the shop, or at least Jessie.
The majority. But also there's a good juxtaposition going on at the same time this poem is being recited, and it is the fact that you're seeing all of this police brutality on Black and brown people, and that's more of an instance of, no, we can't make it out alone. We need the help of everybody to get past this situation. You also kind of see what has happened with the riots, the race riots and things like that in LA at the time.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that this is still a a foreshadowing of what is happening today. And this movie was made, what is this, almost 30 years ago? What we're at, maybe 28 years ago?
Well, probably 30 when they was making it.
Yeah. True. Yeah. When it was filmed, because that was not digital back then. So, this was made, 30 years ago, and we are experiencing the exact same stuff. Like there's been no progression or change or flip or anything. It is, you could look at those individuals and think that those were people from today.
Yeah.
And the clothes is similar to what everybody wearing again, because
And the
everybody
braids.
rocking the 90s and 80s kind of look right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very sad to see.
Yeah.
But
And it's sad because we haven't grown as a society.
yeah, and it makes me think about Tupac's song "Changes," and one of his lines in there is, "I see no changes." All I see is racist faces, and it's like that's exactly what's happening.
A lot of his music is still relevant now.
Oh, for sure, absolutely, because he Tupac. And speaking of Tupac, he also celebrated. Well, he would have celebrated his 50th birthday
on the 16th.
Yeah, so rest in peace to Tupac,
and happy birthday.
Yeah, happy heavenly birthday.
And he's still fine in my spirit.
He is.
Still fine. My eyelashes just be blinking.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
a good looking man. Jesus. We digress. But so after this little brief montage, Justice walks into the shop, and one thing that I noticed off rip, this lady had these nails, and I was like, you could literally cut and paste this movie to today's time.
Yeah.
Because the nails is back.
Yeah.
It's a whole show about it called Claws.
A whole show. And I was like, her nails was long, and I was like, man, maybe I should pause and screenshot this, because I might want to get my nails done like this, because they was a little fly.
They were.
They were a little long for my taste, but I was like, I could get that. I could rock that.
You just got to make sure you get a good nail tech, because, everybody ain't equal.
Yeah, everybody ain't able.
I wish I could go into it, but I won't. I won't put that lady out there like that. So the other thing that I really liked about this was the customer service that was being kind of shown and displayed in this scene.
Yeah.
With making an appointment for the lady, them actually doing a shampoo and a condition before
full service
before doing the braids, and you ain't got to come already ready.
I'm sorry. If I was in that industry, I get that it takes away some of the time, but I need to make sure your head clean properly.
Right, before I touch your hair.
Because people nasty.
Right.
And I need to get thorough. Or some people have scalp diseases and things like that they can't help, and they may not know how to do it, because, how many Black people really go into the dermatologist like that?
True.
Yeah.
So I appreciated seeing that too, with my mom being in the same industry. That's the only person I see still do a full service.
Child,
Is my mom.
if I go to a hairstylist and they tell me that I was supposed to wash my own hair
And blow dry.
First of all, I'm getting ready to walk out. My hair is just gonna be froed up, because I'm not. You're not getting ready to do my hair. I don't trust you now. Y'all know how I'm real funny about people putting their hands in my head.
You just real funny about
Everything.
You know this.
Y'all know
I remain silent. Actually, I said no beans, no beans. Oh man, but I loved it. I was like, man, that's the kind of customer service that I would love for us to be able to get back to. Not that we haven't made some strides in some other areas, but in specific to this industry, there seems to have been a really drastic shift over maybe like the last, I'd say maybe 8 years or so.
The in and out has been what everybody's kind of leaning towards, being quick, and then it be bad work. Don't even parts be bad, your scalp be itching. I think also what I liked about this scene was the showing of the entrepreneurship of the Black woman, and how that was a big thing in that time, like Black women doing hair, Black women like getting into the beauty industry, having their own weave lines and makeup lines and stuff like that. This is when that rise started.
And I like the fact that she wasn't, now she had some ratchetness to her, but she wasn't a ratchet boss.
She was bougetto.
Yeah.
Or sophistiratchet.
Yeah.
I like
or
to call
clatchet.
Clatchet. I like to call myself sophistiratchet. Because I love me a nice hole in the wall, but after a while, I'd be like, all right, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I had that experience this weekend. I had to hold on to my invisible pearls.
It'd be like that sometimes. What I also loved was the back and forth of the banter between Justice and Jesse.
Yeah.
You know, that it saw a really healthy dynamic between a boss and their employee, and like that you can have an environment that is very comfortable and excuse me guys, it doesn't have to be this hierarchy or like, you know, I'm the boss and you gonna do what I say. You know, it doesn't have to be that way. It can be like everybody understands their roles, but we can still make it to where
we can joke and
have
a
fun.
family
that we can relate because we're human. Like we can be human here. And I really did appreciate the humanness that was present in that shop.
Y'all know that's important to me because that's one of the reasons why I work with y'all. Because I'm like, if I can't be a family oriented vibe, I don't want to work for you. I've already been in a crazy situation.
Go back and listen to it's just a job.
Yeah, because I don't have time. I don't want to come to work and be stressed out.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree.
It's still one of our highest listened to.
It is the highest.
So go back and listen to that one where we talk about workplace PTSD. The other thing that I did appreciate, now I had so many conflicted feelings about how people dealt with Justice's grief throughout this film. Excuse me, I don't know what is going on with my throat.
A throat box is
Y'all got to
congested.
remember we've been talking all day.
Yes, because yes, we literally just all of us got out of session, so my throat is on like that. So excuse me.
Well, it's appropriate that it's happening on MMB because this is, you know, a little more unfiltered.
True that. So y'all gonna get this work today, okay? But what I was so conflicted about how everybody dealt with her grief, because I get the sentiment what they're trying to communicate with her, but not quite understanding how complex grief can really be.
Yeah.
You know, I get that they want her to jump back into life and not become stagnant in her grief, but not, again, this is where we talked about there's no context for the time.
Yeah.
You know, if this has only been 3 months or 6 months, then yeah, she's still going to be extremely mournful versus if this was 10 years ago. Now I doubt it had been that long. She didn't look like she aged that much, but still, you know, it helps to have some of that kind of background information so that you can kind of put it in perspective. But I did feel conflicted about it.
Yeah. And I think it's also important when you're thinking about grief, because, you know, that's one of the topics that we discussed in this past month. Just remember that it's a cyclical process. It's not linear, and there are multiple stages to it, and you're going to revisit them throughout each, you know, stage that you go through. Like, it is a long process.
Well, and I think they had to understand like where she was in her grief, because it wasn't like she was still at the stage of like, I need to isolate and I need to stay at home and, you know, just kind of be sad and cry. And she was at least still coming to work. She was, you know, communicating and laughing and joking and things like that. So she just wasn't in the place that they wanted her to be to start another relationship.
True.
Yep.
Because that was one of the things that she did say. They did talk about, you know, you have to kind of expect that this is going to happen just based off where we live and how our world works around here. Yeah. That if you go and date a dope boy, then, you know, you got to be prepared that he may not be around for the long haul. You know, and she has what she say, you pick the wrong guy or you have something like that.
Yeah, you keep picking the wrong guy or something like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, it reminds me, you know, I'm a Marvel head, but it reminds me of that quote that Vision did, what is grief but not love persevering? You know what I'm saying? Like, that really resonates when you have actually been through a meaningful loss and you are grieving. Like, that is your love persevering regardless of their physical entity still being there.
Yeah, and the way he was taken from her.
Oh yeah, so tragically.
Yeah, you know, it may have been different, like, you know, had he gone to jail or something like that, or even if she didn't see it. Like, she still would have
witnessed everything.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, it's multi-layered. Absolutely. But then enters Lucky Lawrence, aka And, you know, I thought it was really cute kind of how he was trying to like play with her.
He was mesmerized by her beauty.
He was. And, you know, he was eyeballing her down as she was licking on them stamps. And I was like, this film old too. If you licking a stamp.
Yes.
Like, this is old.
All I thought of was COVID.
All I thought about was anthrax.
Yes, I was like, when was the last time anybody licked a stamp?
Yes.
They sticky. Now you just...
I was going to say, not since anthrax. I don't think nobody licked the envelope or a stamp.
Okay.
Get that water.
Yep.
Pull that thing off of there. But, baby, he was eyeballing her down with that stamp. And she was paying him 0 Fs.
Yes.
She was just like, I need to get this mail out like Jesse told me. That's all she was thinking about.
She was in employee mode.
And I know. And then the way they slowed it down, it made it feel like he was sexualizing her. Because I was like, come on, Lucky, don't you start that.
I know. In my notes, I was like, question mark, toxic masculinity. Since we had just talked about toxic masculinity and femininity, I was like, question mark? I don't know if it is. I feel like if it was me living that situation, I don't feel like I would have thought it was.
Yeah, I feel like it was more the edit.
Okay.
I feel like it was more the edit.
They slowed it down and it was like her tongue type of. Yeah.
I was like, I feel like it was more the edit because he was just really like, oh my God, I need to shoot my shot. Like he didn't come across like when he
like
started
creepy.
talking to her.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But she was not with the BS
At all.
No.
She ain't want nothing to do with him, like at all. Like if she could have flicked him away, I think she would have.
Yeah. But she was still stuck, you know. She was she was in the depression part of her grief.
Now this is the part where like you said, she was in the throes of her grief. Later on,
She was acting a butt.
I feel like she was thinking she was too good for him.
Well, she did have sprinkles of that in this scene.
Okay.
You know, because then when she calls over her boss, Jesse, and, you know, she asks him, does, you know, he want to smell some things that, you know.
Her nanny.
Yes, that. And then she breathed that hot dragon fire.
On him.
Yeah, she spit hot fire in his face. And then he proceeded to call them crazy bees.
But it goes back to what we discussed before. You know, I feel like sometimes we as women got to go that extra step to protect ourselves from being in a situation where a man does not receive rejection well. So, you know, they was playing into, you know, being lesbians. You know what I'm saying? So because there's only one way that Jessie would have been able to smell like her nanny, you know?
Yes. So he then calls him crazy as he's walking out. But I was like, you know, they did kind of play him though. Hard.
They did.
And
like
embarrassed
a soybean
him.
burger.
I mean, could you imagine in reality how embarrassing that would be?
Very.
Like you just got rejected. Not only did you get rejected, you got rejected in like a very demeaning kind of way.
And in front of the entire shop.
Yes.
And you got to come see these people every day.
But did it warrant the reaction? And although we can't be responsible for how we react we can be responsible for how we react based on how people treat us or say to us and things like that. But then that's what you have to expect. If this is what you're gonna give me, then I'm gonna give you something back. Now, whether or not you like it or not, I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Yeah, I think in a perfect world, you'd be able to, you know, control yourself and walk away. But we ain't perfect.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And sometimes things happen and it gets the better of you and you act a dang fool with them. You just go down the path together, skipping.
Holding hands.
Yes. Okay. But then after that, they are at the post office. Now this scene, I think out of probably all the scenes in the movie, I dislike this one. It's pretty high up there on my dislikes.
It's hella unhealthy.
They really could have just left it out, to be honest. Like they could have done something different.
Well, because it doesn't actually add to the film.
No.
I think the only justification I can give to this one is their introduction to Chicago.
Yeah, but they could have done it different. You know what I'm saying? They could have done it
Yep.
the scene totally different for us to get that intro versus like the extra that was around his introduction.
I got you.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, because there was a lot of misogyny in this scene. There was the strife that happens between black and brown folks. There was some colorism in there. I mean, it was just a lot in like a 2-minute section of the movie.
Yep.
I wish we could know why he put that in there, because just like he put the police brutality part in it, like maybe he was giving messages.
I think he definitely was, because race riots were huge.
Exactly.
Then. And it wasn't just white and black. It was black and brown, black and whatever other color they used to represent people. But it was a lot of race riots going on across Cali.
It was. You know, I just think that this scene was evident, and it's still reminiscent of today, that a lot of work needs to happen within communities. You're not just at society at large, but within the black community, within the brown community, and then the cross section between the two, just in how they were speaking to each other. Because it wasn't like light, funny banter.
No, they was getting
into
some stuff.
Because you think about Bad Boys, where the Mike Lowry and Marcus, when him and the other two Latin cops, this one's specifically, I think, from Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2. They have that same kind of black and brown thing, but it's much more in jest, and they're joking with each other. But this didn't feel like that.
No, he was mad.
Yeah.
Because he was, because they asked, well, not they, the Hispanic dude, he asked about what's a yamp. He thought he said yam, not a young tramp. Right. And so they going on and talking to him crazy when he just trying to get clarity. Because obviously English is his second language. And they not speaking English. They speaking AAVE, so that's a whole other language.
Yeah.
And he is trying to get clarity on that instead of them just saying, hey, this is what it is with no extra sting on it. They make him feel stupid. So he go in talking about, well, take your collard greens, your yams, your this, your that, your this. And so it becomes a whole situation.
Yeah. Man, that's sad. So then we cut back to, I think Justice is at home. No.
Lucky is at his baby
mama house.
Yeah, that's when we see the dude roll up and they say we about to go get somebody else because old boy got killed. I said, well, was it Ricky? You know what I mean? Are we combining the stories?
Right.
But
yeah, I liked the Tone Loc, because I don't know what his name was in the film, but like,
I don't know what it is either.
I like Tone Loc and the way that Lucky were kind of dealing with each other.
Yeah.
At first, like, I couldn't remember this part of the movie, and when I saw it, I was like, oh, what's going on here?
Because at first you would have just thought that they were just kind of homeboys or whatever. Because I was the same. I was like, wait, who is Tone Loc in this movie? And then
when they went
James.
upstairs,
His name is James.
Okay. When they went upstairs, I was like, oh yeah,
He the other baby daddy.
That's right. So I thought that was very interesting that you could have two men that have children with the same woman, and how it's not strife and all this animosity between the two of them.
The bantering between the two of them was better than the bantering. Well, it wasn't even bantering. Whatever Chicago Lucky and the other guy in the mailroom was.
Yeah. And I thought it was nice to see the fathers getting along.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I really did appreciate that. Out of all the calamity that's about to happen in this scene, at least the fathers were on good terms with one another.
Yeah.
And that Tone Loc took care of Lucky's daughter in his absence.
Even though
they watched
even though he was like, well, sometimes she called me daddy anyway. Who called you daddy?
Just messing with that poor boy.
I know. He was like, well, she know who her. Well, let's go. Well, get your upstairs then.
I wonder if that was ad-libbed or if this was part of the script.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that do seem like something Tupac would say, like the way it was structured.
Mm-hmm. It felt very ad-libby, but
genuine.
yes, yeah. Because I'm like, that was some good acting then.
Yeah.
You know, and if it was ad-libbed, I think, you know, Tone rolled with it really well.
Yeah.
But then they go upstairs. And we soon learn that their baby mama has a substance abuse problem. She's on that stuff.
That cocaine.
Mm-hmm. And she's been smoking, it seems like, in front of the children, because they find a pipe of sorts somewhere on the coffee table.
Mm-hmm. It was in a bowl of peppermints or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
She was trying to find it but couldn't find it.
Yeah.
But what I didn't like about this scene is they are going in on her.
Yeah, in front of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, you know, we all kind of talked about this when we were kind of discussing the film. Like, y'all chose this woman to be the mother of y'all. Like, y'all chose to have relations with her.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether that ended up with a child, you know, you just gotta, if you going out here without protection.
That control there was on point.
She pulled herself back from
the
edge.
I did. So if you're out here, you know, living your life that way, then as an adult, you kind of have to expect that potential is there. So you chose to enter into this situation with this woman.
Literally.
Mm-hmm. And then you proceed to talk bad about her, and she's the one that's raising your child.
And your children are old enough to understand. They may not know what all of those words mean, but they know you're talking about their mama.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it was not uncommon. Them babies just sat right there, listened to all that while they was watching them cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But then when they find this pipe, Lucky goes into her bedroom, and then we see
she getting serviced
by a gentleman,
a
of sorts.
non-sanctioned maintenance man.
Mm-hmm. And then they all start fighting because they getting on to her and she coming back at them. And then this guy jumps in. So then the two dads start jumping on him. And I was like, you guys are behaving in the way that y'all just described about her. Like, you talked about how unhealthy she is. Now, of course, they didn't say these words, but like, y'all talked about how bad she was. And then y'all go and beat the dude up right in front of your children.
And the babies just ran. I'm assuming in the kitchen. I can't really tell what it was, but running in the kitchen, and he Lucky done grabbed his daughter, and the son was like, "I want to go too." I was like, "Oh, get the baby boy
I
too."
know.
They just walk right on out that place, and then so did James.
Yeah,
the other baby dad. He was like, "I'll be back."
He didn't even get his son out of the situation.
That was really sad to see, though.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, it's so unfortunate that we don't have a system that would have allowed Lucky to take him, even if he wanted to, that we don't have a system that would have allowed Lucky to take that boy out of that situation, that his only option really is to just leave him there.
Yeah.
Because his father is right there.
Yeah. Well, you know, his daddy out there slanging. So that was the best place for him to be, inside the home, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Because both of them dealing with drugs in some kind of way.
Yeah. And it's just like, it made me sad because if you were to like kind of project on into the future, it makes you think like, what would happen to this little boy? You know, you're going to end up having a set of siblings where the sister's going to grow up and have a much more healthy, functional life. And then he's going to be stuck in this situation if he doesn't end up in the system.
Yeah, because he doesn't have a good example of either parent.
No. Now that mama, she, like I was talking about, you know, the other time we was discussing it, that mama was not from LA. That mama was from Baltimore.
Yeah.
Because that deer, like, I said,
that is such Baltimore. It's like, I have a friend that's from Baltimore, and man, it is like thick. When she say mother, I'd be like, what?
It's like, I want to know, like, what's the combinations? Like, what dialects came together in that region to create those hard O's like that?
Yeah, it was very interesting. But I did feel sorry for the little boy, you know, like I said, projecting into the future that he likely is going to become just like his father, or worse off. unless he is able to get hooked up with a different type of mentor. Like if you had something like a Mr. Carter kind of thing from like Lean On Me
sports or something like that.
You know what I'm
his
saying?
Coach took him under his wing.
Yeah, unless you had somebody that was really going to put their energy and effort into you, he was likely going to become just another statistic.
Yeah.
And that was really heartbreaking to see. So then we cut back to the shop for a small little piece. And again, this is about being conflicted about how everybody's dealing with Justice's grief. I understand where her boss is coming from, and she's trying to be helpful, but she could just do better.
We do discover that they're getting ready for a hair show, the entire shop in Oakland. And so Jesse kind of asked her, was her styles ready? Was she, and she's like, yeah, I got it together. I just got to do some tightening up on the two models, and that kind of.
And gave her the worst advice ever, talking about men being a tool that you have to pick from a toolbox every now and again.
Well, she stay giving some bad advice about men.
Yes.
That's why she ain't got one.
She's the Samantha.
Yeah.
That's her. Is this also the scene where they Haywood, yeah.
And Dexter.
Yeah. No, Haywood get the
phone call. But we don't ever actually learn what the news is.
No.
Because she asks him, did you find out? And he seems really kind of withdrawn, sullen, or distraught about whatever information he learned on the phone. But now this is not aging well based off this film. However, we are left to assume that this individual may
contracted something.
But given that this is the very early 90s, HIV and AIDS was a much more scary thing at that time. Someone that's coming up in 2021 is likely not going to be as fearful of that because of the antivirals that exist now, and the ability to live a very healthy lifestyle for a long period of time. But likely when this was filmed, maybe 1991, some portion of 92, maybe, that was,
scary,
extremely scary. And the likelihood of you surviving was much, much lower than it is today. So we're only left to kind of assume that that's what happened because they portray him in a very stereotypical homosexual kind of way.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know what.
Yeah,
I wish they would have fleshed that out a little bit more.
I wish they would have just told us. So if we interpreted that incorrectly,
yeah.
Poetic Justice cast, let us know.
Please let us know. Help the algorithms. Please let us know. And the exposure. But again, because there's a moment of grief with him in that right then too.
Right.
You know, and in how, but he's in the shock portion of grief.
Yeah.
So I think that while it could be a little bit more nuanced, I do appreciate that they show different aspects of what grief can look like. So then we get a small little scene of Lucky bringing Keisha, his daughter, to his mom's house. And what must I say, I love Jennifer Lewis.
Oh, yes. And I love that kickback that she was giving to Lucky, too.
Because he tried to cuss in her house, and after she had just cussed him, and she was like, don't cuss in my house, boy.
And smoke.
Because he thought because he was paying bills, he could smoke and cuss.
You grown, you live here.
You grown and you live with your mama.
But I'm saying that's why you paying.
Exactly.
You gonna help me.
Okay.
Yes.
I was
ninja.
But she was playing no games with him because he was like, so Keisha gonna stay with us permanently. And she was like, but you gonna raise her.
She told me, how's my grandbaby?
She's so genuine. I think, wasn't she part of our, remember that one session?
Yeah, she was our auntie. That's what we chose her as
auntie.
Because she too much.
As mama. Because I was like, I feel like she was part of our little
our list.
Her and Loretta was on the same.
Oh yeah.
That's true. But I did appreciate for her that she was not going to take on the responsibility that her son created.
Yeah. She's
that's
like,
good.
I'm just gonna be granny. That's it.
Which she should.
Yeah.
That's her role. She should be able to enjoy being the granny.
Yeah, that's boundary setting.
Yes.
101, guys.
and I get to spoil them and send them back and let them cry with you.
And no guilt. She felt no guilt.
Good.
You're going to raise your child because that's the decision you made. You decided to bring her here. She's your responsibility. So I liked that she did not feel obligated or pressured to overinvest in, his
decisions.
Yeah, the result of those things.
Yeah.
I also like that this scene showed that Lucky is struggling with being a man. He is showing, he still has a lot of kid in him. The fact that he walked off when his mama was talking to him and then went sat down and played video games shows where his state of mind is when it comes to problem solving.
And that he showed the respect to her when she was like, don't you cuss in my house and don't you smoke that cigarette.
He didn't want to die.
Right.
Because he was getting ready to say, he was like, stuff.
Yeah.
Like, look at that. So then we get to the next scene and Justice is preparing herself to leave to go for the hair show. And as I was looking at her carry these bags out, I was like, hold on, hold the phone. She got a Louis bag in 1993.
I thought the same thing. I was like, wait, is that a Louis or a shoey?
Because
it was Louis.
It was a Louis bag. And this is before, this ain't no shade to our peoples, but this is before we really knew about Louis bags.
Yeah.
So that was like, in my head, I was thinking, I said, is that Janet's actual bag? Or like they just didn't have another bag on set.
That was Janet's
so they used
bag.
Janet's bag, but didn't nobody know it was a Louis, so she was able to get away with it. But people today was like, wait, hold on.
Yeah, that was
I know
Janet.
what them LVs are.
If they couldn't refill the white lady glass in the fake movie, that was Janet bag.
Okay.
Right.
And that's a duffel bag. Like them joints is not cheap.
Okay.
And especially then.
All of her bags looked like they was expensive because
They
the way
did.
the purse was shaped, it looked like a Dooney and Burke.
I
couldn't tell.
I couldn't tell either.
But that's my mama bag. She liked them bags.
But
Okay.
I thought it was a Dooney as well. But I was like,
I said,
I
okay.
can't see I couldn't see the letters, so I couldn't tell. But it did kind of have that Dooney feel to it.
She
But
said
then
she
I was
racking in that money from that hair.
But then her grandmother had just passed 2 years ago, so she could have had from
Oh, Granny had some good
Yeah.
stuff because it was a
she
big
had-
house too.
yeah, that's
the
what I was
house.
gonna say.
Yeah, I feel like Granny had her monies together, but I don't know if Granny just left her money be buying bags.
Hey,
True.
she
I
could
feel
have
like
splurged.
she earned them bags.
She could have splurged. We talking about Justice, not Janet.
True, true. But then I was like, then you hopped in the Honda and your car didn't start.
It was the battery, y'all.
It
You
didn't
could tell
do
it wasn't
nothing.
turning over. It was
right.
I was like, hold on, wait a minute. That's like when Future said you're gonna cry in the Honda. No, he didn't say Honda. He said
Maybach.
in the Phantom.
some
It was
car that
something
we
like
ain't
that.
fist to get no time soon.
I was like, oh, you got all them expensive bags, but your car didn't start. You didn't check that.
No.
Like your battery just don't go dead all of a sudden. Like it'd be like like it, it'd be letting you know beforehand that it's going dead.
I
But
don't
see,
know.
she
That's
a woman
93
that
though.
probably didn't know that. Like you got to remember, you married to a man that work on cars,
True.
so you know that.
True.
And we live in a different car era.
Oh yeah, because that's a turnkey. That's not a
Yes.
I did push to start.
Yeah.
That was a turn. That's one
Yeah.
of them.
So
She probably
you-
had to roll down windows too.
Exactly.
Oh gosh.
She might have had
A power.
a power
The OG power windows.
where it'd be like,
For sure.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's certain tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's ANCHOR.FM.
But of course, as the plot must go, she called Aisha because Aisha and so Lucky Chicago and Aisha is going with them on a run. Now, when they originally said this, they tried to set it up like it was going to be a drug run. But what they really doing is taking some mail up to Oakland.
Because that's how I used to get. There wasn't no FedEx back then.
Yes. So, of course, now she got to call a homegirl, which I'm like, man, this lets you know how different the world is because there won't no cell phone. So it won't like you could just call. So that means Aisha had to be
at home
when you called.
Yes.
Right.
And of course she was.
Mm-hmm.
Where else was she going to be? Let's think about who we talking about. Aisha is crazy.
True.
But she cracked me up. Justice cracked me up when she got on the phone. Talking about, what up, Cal?
Mm-hmm. I was like, man, times changed. Because now you would not expect, like now I would expect you to answer the phone. But back then, it's just like, it was
a hit and miss.
It was a gamble.
Mm-hmm.
You just be like, oh, well, hopefully they call me back if you have an answer machine.
Hopefully she hadn't left already.
She had a pager.
Because there wasn't no call ID either.
Isha had a pager though.
Oh,
she sure
did. Okay. So she could have had a pager then. But she come to pick them up and they in the mail truck. And Justice was like, oh, no.
This is when the bougie came out.
Mm-hmm. And then she happens to notice that the person driving is none other than the man that came into the shop. What she said a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then he noticed her and say, oh, man.
And of course, she was all kind of names.
Mm-hmm. It's that bit from the shop, from the salon that I was telling you about. And then, of course, they giving each other the stank eye, the stank face as soon as they see each other. But here go her friend trying to hook her up. No, girl, sit up here. Sit up here with him. And she's like, ugh.
But you know something we missed was that even at that point, Chicago was a hater. You don't know her. You don't know her. I was like,
he was a hater.
Mm-hmm. We should have known.
Don't
this
need
was
no hateration, holleration.
The beginning of the haterade.
Because he's going to be hating a whole lot in this movie.
Yes.
But they get into the mail truck and then they on their way on the road. And I agree. This is when she was really being a bit much. Like, because there was really no real reason for her to be acting stank towards him.
not at this level.
No, because if you're not interested, that don't mean that you have to be rude. You can still have a conversation. Y'all get ready to drive. Now we know thank you, Dr. Strickland, 5 hours in this truck. So it was no need in you being, y'all was just going to drive the whole way quiet.
Well, she was, because she had her shades on and she had her arms folded. You know, all the body language was saying, don't talk to me.
Just sitting over there pouting, being a big old child.
And it really is like, for what?
Right.
Because it ain't nobody fault your car didn't start.
And it's definitely not his.
Right.
But then he called her out. You know, he initiated it, trying to have like some conversation with her. And
Small talk.
Yeah, and she was like, shut down. Boom, boom. She was Serena Williams in that thing. Pow, pow, pow. So
I like the sound effects.
Hey, we got to do what we can.
Okay.
So she was not having it. So then he was like, he flipped it on her then. So then the thing I was wondering, okay, so once he flipped it on her, did he go too far?
I think they both went too far.
Okay.
Again, here's his reaction to her what she's doing.
Yes.
Like, could it be better? Yes, but both of them could be better.
We always desire for people to have a response and not a reaction, but they were reactionary. Okay, they was going in on each other.
Yes,
they were, because then they get to cussing each other out. F you, no F you, no F you.
I'm gonna get so and so to F you up,
and he like, all right. And then he tells her, well, she tells him to pull the truck over. And then she jump out and they throw her, get her bags and throw her bags out. And he drive off. Now, my whole time, I'm like, you don't hear your homegirl. Like, y'all ain't that far away.
I would have been instant. What y'all in here talking about?
Right.
Because what you're not going to do is that.
Right. Because first of all, I already know y'all don't know each other. So if y'all raising y'all's voices like that, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. What is going on?
Whatever I'm doing in that moment is stopping.
Right.
Like, hold on. Wait. Why are you talking to my friend like that?
Exactly.
Like, you all right, girl? Like, what? You good? What's going on up here? Actually, as a matter of fact, let me sit up here real quick.
As a matter of fact, no, Chicago, you sit up there with your boy.
That. So then I didn't understand like how. I was like, they're like 3 feet away from them. Like, how do they not hear what's going on? Like, the road noise can't be that loud.
They ain't the best of friends to the 2 leads. Let's just be honest.
True. So true. So then she like, no, you can't leave her out there like that. So I was like, Regina, you ain't got enough oomph in that. You can't leave her for me. Because I'd be like, turn this around right now and go get my friend. First of all, it wouldn't have gotten to that point, but had it, it would have been a lot more bleepty bleeps going on.
So I do respect the fact that she at least tried to get him to go back. Now, it wasn't as successful as we would have liked it to be immediately.
True.
But she did try to have her girl back. Like, you know, we just talked about, you know, people not protecting Black women and things like that. And for her to at least make that step to do that, that was what I could appreciate.
Yeah. So then they do cut to her walking and she got all them bags and she is stepping. I mean, she is walking, boy.
But
tripping. And it was a real trip, y'all. They kept that in, but it was a real trip. She almost took a tumble.
Yeah, like that would was an ankle breaker right there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, girl, you know you getting in that truck. Why are you trying to act? So this is when Dr. Jones Hines was just saying about, we know it's a 5-hour trip. This was literally when I paused the movie and I said, well, how far is LA from Oakland? Because not being from California, you know, I'm thinking of it like how people think about Texas. They think everything real close together, even though our state is gigantic. So I'm thinking, clear Oakland's only like an hour away from LA. So it really ain't
flying.
that. I mean, she'd have been hot, but she could have made it. So I said, well, let me Google it. And it's 5 hours. And I was like, oh, no. I did not realize they was that far away from each other. So I was like,
she thought she was getting ready to walk that, because they was only on the road for at least 15-20 minutes.
And there ain't no such thing as Uber.
Oh, yep.
Or Lyft.
And ain't nobody supposed to pay that amount for a taxi.
And there ain't no bus station around.
No.
So you know you getting your behind back in this truck.
And you
it
gotta
looked
make
hot.
it. You have to make it there because you have a whole hair competition you going to.
Mm-hmm. So I was like, why is she even faking the phone? First of all, why you tell him to pull over from the get-go? Knowing that there wasn't going to be nowhere for you to go. Because you could see instantly, as soon as he drove off, she like,
regretted that decision.
It was like, oh.
That pride getting in the way.
I messed up. But then when they come back, now you got to act like, you know, nope.
You gotta
save
keep it
face.
going. Yeah.
Y'all ever been in an argument with somebody and you realize at some point in the argument, like, ooh, I took it too far.
Oh, yeah.
But now I
can't take it back.
I just got to ride this thing on out.
No, I'm a Scorpio. I'm calculated. I knew I was going there and I meant it.
Oh.
So that's y'all know that I try to stay calm.
Oh, see.
No,
All
I'm
the time.
hot tempered, so I can easily go there in 2.5 seconds.
You know.
Well, used to be.
You know that.
Not me anymore.
Mine becomes an inferno, and then it's just like, oh wait, I didn't mean to catch you in my blaze, as I was, you know, catching on fire. Sorry about that. But yeah, I've had some where it'd be like, ooh, yeah, I misunderstood that.
I just processed that better right now, and that you didn't even mean it like that.
In
but
that second,
Yeah.
and it's like, but I've already
apologize.
gone down this road, so
I'll apologize later.
Yeah, let me go ahead and ride this on out, and then act like I went and thought about it, and then I'll apologize. Toxic femininity. So she gets back on, and then they go to a gas station, and I was like, "Oh, they in the sticks."
It looked like that was the country corner store with K's.
Because the way that trucker came and tried to grab that diesel hose, I was like, "Ooh, yeah, they need to hurry up and get up out of there."
Quick.
Sundown town.
And I was like, there's just a lot going on. And this is our first introduction into Isha possibly being an alcoholic.
And how not she like, how she don't like Chicago.
Oh, yes. Because the play between both sets of them talking about each other was very interesting, because you know, the ladies she is tearing this man down. I mean, he has no redeeming qualities. And then he over there like trying to play like he, you know, it ain't that big a deal. Like, and he just a steady brushing his hair, Lord.
Because he give her money.
And he lying because apparently he, you know, stutters when he lies. And that he not giving her money, but he really is. And I just thought it was interesting that how they had such different perspectives on each other.
And she was a
How
gold digger.
oblivious he was to her true intent.
Yeah. But I mean, she talked about that man peeing like horribly. I was like, oh, he got issues, the size and the time. Pick one.
Yes, pick a struggle.
He was struggling with both.
So then they get ready to go and they're back on the road, and she wants this man to drink half a bottle of lemonade
So she can pour the whole bottle.
No gin. Was it gin or vodka?
It was clear. Whatever it was clear.
I can't remember what it was.
I think it was gin.
But she said it was hot, so that made me...
Gin and juice. Yes, it was gin.
Okay, because I was like, she said it was hot, so that would make me think gin, because vodka is kind of like a kind of thing. But she wants to pour the whole bottle in there. And she drank this thing by herself.
Nobody helped her.
The entire bottle.
She had a pint.
I think so.
Of the gin?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She did.
And she drank this whole thing in the heat.
Ooh.
By herself. On no food. Because they didn't stop and get no food when they went to this gas station.
Hot Cheetos, I think.
I mean, but
I thought
no,
those were
Chicago
for,
got
Chicago.
Cheetos.
Got hot Cheetos.
Yeah, he got Cheetos.
She didn't get nothing.
She just got drank.
She had no room. She couldn't eat and drink. I just need to drink.
Obviously, her drink got her.
That's probably why. Well, she drank the whole bottle of gin, but that's probably why she got drunk so quick. She didn't have nothing on her stomach to suck that up.
Nothing. This is also our introduction into Justice's obsession with clean fingernails.
Yeah.
Your nails so nasty.
Because she commented that I know at least 3 or 4 times this whole film on this man's fingernails and how dirty they were. But they were.
Yes.
But this was when she started softening up a slight bit towards him.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Because that look when she got back on that truck when they was playing with the water guns, he was like, I still think she cute though.
Yeah.
They was doing that. And then they drive and they smell the barbecue. And they crash this family's reunion.
Oh, Johnson family.
I'm trying to figure out how they was able to get in. They didn't have no t-shirt.
And y'all pulled up in a mail truck.
Yes.
Nobody thought that was weird.
Cousin Pete didn't see the mail truck though.
Oh, because they just kind of walked in like they was like, we walk in and we going to eat. And then just lied. You know, Cousin Lucky, Little Lucky. And he was like, oh, yeah, Little Lucky. I said, you ain't asked no question. The fact that you even stopped them and asked him who he was, I should have already let you know your gut was telling you something about this don't feel right. I don't feel like you belong here. But we gonna roll with it. You black, we black.
But that's what I was just going to say. I can't even remember which session it was, but we were talking about how black people are very relationship oriented. You know, we'll just let anybody come eat. Come on, baby. We'll feed the whole community.
You invited to the barbecue. Y'all need to stop giving out them invitations.
Yes, because they literally took one. And then, so we had the aunties at the table who was going in on Chicago and Isha.
Yeah. One of them was the great Maya Angelou.
And I said, boy, they got her number. They tried to pretend like they was married. And you know good and well this girl ain't married. First of all, you couldn't even tell how long you had been married. You talking about 6 months.
And you don't have your ring on?
At 6 months.
At 6 months. Because my ring was too big and I didn't want to give it up.
Now that's different when you done got to my stage. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I've been married, in a few months it'll be 11 years. I'll go sometimes 2-3 weeks without wearing my ring.
Or you might even have a silicone. Yeah.
Or I have my silicone joint on. And I done stopped wearing my one with the diamond on it. I just got me a plain old white gold. Like when I say plain Jane, this thing ain't got nothing on it. So I'm like, you ain't giving off married vibes
At all.
So, and they feel it. They know it. They like this little tenderoni trying to play us.
Mm-hmm. She giving off McThotty vibes.
I was just going to say, they old school. They know what true...
I love it. But she did. Yes, I agree with you. So then you also, in this kind of portion of the film, you see Lucky and Justice really starting to communicate and get to know each other a little bit more. She's letting him in a smidge.
She's still playing a little hard to get, but
but then she shuts stuff down real quick, and I was like, man, you really are like doing this thing where you are just rude to him for like
it's like a tug of war.
Because she was like, you getting too personal. And it's like, well, how was he gonna know that? He thought we was answering questions, asking questions,
joking, and that y'all taking jabs at each other. He don't know your love got gunned down at the movie theater. He don't know that.
And then you talked about his fingernails again.
What do you know? You can't even keep your effing nails clean,
right? And I'm like, what is she, ma'am?
What does that have to do with anything? That ain't got nothing to do with the tea in China.
That just happened right here. None of that.
Deflection.
Real bad.
So then here comes Miss Aisha, and she's over here flirting with somebody at the family reunion.
That would be her cousin, technically.
And
Justice, she honed in like, ding 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 ding, bad.
Okay, laser eyes, and she was cutting back between her and the aunties.
Yeah, because the aunties peeped it first.
And they must have been talking loud if she could have heard them from wherever they was at, because she was looking like, let me go get her, because this is not gonna be good. And she already know her friend is lit.
Because she done picked up more drinks since they done got there. The only person ate something was Lucky, and he the smallest person there,
and he had a big plate.
She sure did, and was taking some to-go plates.
Okay, so then she runs over there trying to get her friend, and she like, do you know what you doing? Like, girl, like what are you doing? Like, why you out here acting like this? And of course she drunk, so
we just talking. You ain't supposed to be talking.
One of the hardest people to deal with is a drunk person. If you're sober, drunk people are some of the hardest people to deal with. Just some belligerent.
Because it's almost like when they pass out and you try to pick them up to take them to a bed or something like that. It's like that when they are not even passed out. It's heavy. You feel heavy, like it's a struggle. You're trying to talk logically. Like I tell my clients, you cannot talk logically with someone who is intoxicated.
No. I had one dude like that. He learned when he woke up in that vomit. I made sure you was on the side.
Let me turn your head,
because you ain't gonna drown on my watch,
right?
But I ain't picking it up either. You're too big. Y'all know I like big men. I can't do it. I'm 5'2". He's 6'5". What?
Nothing.
Where I'm gonna pull you to?
Nowhere.
You gonna bust your head?
I'm gonna end up breaking your foot trying to pull you.
Okay.
Be done kicked you.
Yeah. But then, of course, Chicago sees this commotion that's going on, that, Justice is trying to pull her away from this man.
Them lights turning on.
And then, of course, they do the like, zoom. And he zoomed in, and he was like, oh, yeah, no, I got to go. So then he heads over there, and now he trying to get her off the dude. Now they fighting, and everybody yelling, and Lucky like, oh, okay, yeah, it's time to go. So then he get to, packing up the plates, and then Cousin Pete like, hold on, like, let me go check this out over here, because something about this ain't right. So then they leave, and Chicago and Isha, I almost said Lucky. They arguing and stuff in the back, and they stop at this. No, yeah, they stopped at the beach next, right?
It's like
what's
a
the
cliff.
Stop? It's like one of them cute stops.
Yeah, it's like a cliff or something. No.
Because it had a bathroom because she was going to get sick.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't make it to the bathroom
But
in time.
this is the stop.
Oh, this is a rest area.
The
this
rest
is the
area
stop
pit
with,
stop.
Janet was like, I mean,
You're
sorry,
like my
Justice.
mama.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then they stop at some sort of rest area so that she can go to the restroom, but she ends up vomiting on the way there. And this is when we see Justice, like she done.
She done yoked that poor girl up. She's moving her around. That's probably why she was so sick. You're moving me too fast.
I know you get them wobbly legs. So she throw her bottle on the ground, and I was like, ooh, she yeeted that bottle on the ground, boy.
Yeet.
Okay. She did. And that thing, glass went everywhere. So, then we learn a little bit more about Justice's background, where she says, you just like my mama. So then we assume, based off that statement, that her mother was an alcoholic. And then, of course, now she's all apologetic. And I'm so sorry, you my best friend and all that stuff. But she's still drunk. So then they have another scene where it's the guys at the table and they're talking about kind of what they're listening to the cousin's mixtape.
Khalil.
And this is Lucky's cousin's mixtape, and Justice is vibing to it. And then, of course, hating but Chicago. Here he go. Oh, man, that ain't nothing. Da, 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 da. So then Lucky's like, look, how you going to hate on somebody? How you going to hate from outside the club? You know what I'm saying? But like, you going to hate on this man and he's really trying to do something with himself. It may not be what you like or what you would want to do, but at least he's attempting to do something better with his life.
Because he wasn't creative like Chicago.
Because he could dress. He could put clothes together.
You ain't know? That takes precedent over being able to make music and beats and rhymes.
As you continue to brush your hair with a fresh fade.
Right. Really brushing your skin.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's funny. He got this name Chicago, but he ain't living up to it. How your name this big, but you so small?
Yeah.
In multiple ways.
See, we needed to be there. They wouldn't have been able to handle it. But then they, of course, then they start doing the girls start doing their little cheer thing, and
Shake
then
to the east, shake to the west.
It really doesn't matter who shakes their best. Hey.
So then they get back into the vehicle and they drive and they stop at a beach. And then you get it's a weird scene, but you get everybody's internal thoughts for just a moment.
It's the blurb scene without the blurbs.
So you see that, Justice is thinking about, she was thinking about Lucky.
She was reflecting on losing weight.
Also talking about weight.
Yeah.
Because he had said she basically had thunder thighs when she
But obviously he like it.
Okay.
Right. And of course,
because she
it's
thick.
Janet.
Thick.
Her legs was not thunder.
Well, they was thunder for then.
For that time.
Because people were real skinny in that part of the 90s.
I felt like it was the jeans that was making it. But y'all may be right. I was just thinking.
But I do think the jeans enhanced.
Yeah.
But I think that was thick Janet, but not overweight Janet. Because she's always fluctuated
with her weight. Yeah.
But she looked good to me and all of them.
Miss Jackson, if you listen to this.
Yes.
All the time.
We're only 6 degrees of separation. So the other 5 degrees, please get this to her. But yeah, so she was reflecting on maybe I need to lose some weight. Then Lucky over there I want that. I'm going to try to get at that. I like her.
I was like, sir, you weren't successful in getting her number at the salon.
He persistent.
I know.
I'm like wearing you down.
Yes. But, he also, there's a bit of foreshadowing because this is the 4th time that he's brought up his cousin Khalil. And he's like, man, I wonder what Khalil doing. So we obviously something going to pop off with Khalil later.
Yeah.
So then they get back into the vehicle and they're proceeding to, do they thug thizzle on down the road. And I was like, they are off the beaten path here. And this was also that I was like, oh yeah, this is a 5-hour drive because they found this carnival and, I think it was kind of more like just a frustration scene for me because I was like, what is the point of this right here?
It was for Lucky and Justice to be able to get more time
Closer.
together.
Mm-hmm. But this is when she really starts liking him here. And then you can tell also that the irritation with Chicago has started to build across the board, not necessarily just between him and Isha.
Yeah. Because can't nobody stand him now because he just acting a fool.
Yeah. So then they get back in the truck and they are, driving again. And in this scene here, I would be so peed off if my friend was literal few feet away from me.
A foot.
And her dude is going at it behind. And I just, and
Well,
I'm
that's
really not
strong
going
words.
at it. I know.
okay. Yeah. They
It
were
was
having a little,
in.
they was having
That's
a little,
about it.
Yeah.
they was having a moment.
There you, yeah. He was having a moment.
He was having a moment. I would still be upset.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cause like, why are you doing this right now?
And you think it's garbage. So why are you, I know what she said in that scene, but why are you even subjecting yourself to that?
Right, because you already said you were getting ready to break up with him when you get back.
And you're disgusted with this dude.
Yeah, because even when he was kissing on her, her face was like disgusted.
I mean, the severe hard eye roll was ridiculous.
Yes.
And I'm like, why would you even put yourself in that position? And then why would you put your girl in that position to now have to be, again, you're only a couple of feet away. This is a postal truck. This ain't like no 18-wheeler.
Right.
Where y'all in the back cab and I don't know what in the world's going on. Like there ain't no door here. It's a curtain. It just was in poor taste all the way around.
I agree.
But then, of course, Isha, I'm assuming she's still kind of drunk because, again, but we don't have no time reference or if she's eating anything. And then that she get upset. So now she going in on Chicago. She talking about him bad. Talking about his love game is weak. And then they decide that, they get to arguing and she talking and then they jump out the vehicle and get on, they're in some kind of,
it's looked like a cliff or something.
Yeah, they're off the side of the road somewhere. And these two are going in on each other. Now, Chicago is attempting to understand what's going on because he seems kind of confused.
Because it is out of left field.
Yeah. Because, we've been doing this for however long they've been dating. And so he's like, wait, hold on. What's going on? What's going on? And she is just like, and like just giving it to him. And then she say that one thing that she knew was going to be that knife in him, that she's been sleeping with somebody else. And this is one of the first times we see him stop brushing his hair. And he took a second to think about it and then popped her in the mouth.
He did say, what you say? I said, and
yeah.
Because that was one of those, like, I heard it. But do you have do you have the guts to say it again? And she did.
Yes, she did.
Now, I don't condone violence. Let me go ahead and put that disclaimer out there. But you also have to be aware that you cannot push people's buttons in areas that you know is going to push them.
And you already knew he has a lot of insecurities.
And then cry foul.
Yeah.
When they do it. Because that was really the only thing that I didn't particularly care was like, then they almost used the woman card here. Like, again, I don't condone violence, but you pushed this man emotionally. You tore him down about his physical attributes. You tore him down about his financial acumen. You tore him down about his ability to engage in sexual activity. You tore him, and then on top of that said, you so bad that I'm actually sleeping with somebody else.
Yeah.
Now, again, he should have, we're talking ideal world. Yes, you would walk away. You would not engage in that.
But again, a person's reaction is going to be at the same level. Don't expect to say stuff, to do stuff to people and not have a reaction. And then, like you said, cry wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. And she should know better by now.
Especially if they are used to dealing with dope boys, hood dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not dealing with the most emotionally, intelligent individual. So why would you engage with him like that? I also didn't like that Lucky was trying to keep Justice from getting involved, and like, nah, that's their business, let them handle it. And it's like, no, like, you can obviously see this situation is escalating. That's one thing if these are strangers and you don't know them, you know, because I can't say that I would get involved if I saw a man and a woman and they're two strangers going at it. I can't say that I would get involved in that because I don't know these people. I don't know if they have weapons.
Right.
You know, that could potentially become a dangerous situation for me. But if these are my friends,
at least get your boy.
Right. Like, I would get involved if it was my friends going at it like that. Because first of all, I don't even know if we would have escalated to that point. But it had it gotten to that level, yeah, I'm coming in to be like, yo, hold on, let's calm down. You go over there. You like come over here with me, so that it doesn't turn into what it ended up turning into.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that he didn't jump in until Justice became hurt. Yeah, until she got hurt, because now it's, you know, your prize is being damaged.
Right.
But beforehand,
she shouldn't have had to jump in to rescue her girl. Like, he could have gotten his boy, and she would have definitely gotten her friend so that they can go somewhere else.
Joint.
Yeah.
Effort.
Yeah.
But they end up leaving Chicago there, and they continue on towards the hair show. And Lucky stops at a beach, and this is really where Justice kind of really starts opening up to him and inviting him into her world. We learn about her grandmother. We learn about where her name comes from. We learn about her mother, like all of the tragedy and kind of trauma that has taken place in her life. And
she cleans Lucky's nails.
She cleaned his nails.
Time, because what they about to do, he need clean nails for.
Exactly.
But I mean, we do learn that her mom committed suicide. We learned that, you know, grandmother died 2 years ago. So she's had so many instances of death. So she probably really is in a revolving state of grief, to be honest. You know, I don't think she's had time to get over one before the next one comes.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. But then one of the things that we were talking about before was when he kissed her and she walked off to reflect on if this is really what she's going to do. Yeah, she took a moment to decide what her next move was going to be.
She didn't allow herself to be forced into anything. She really kind of sat with herself and said, okay, am I in a state to be able to receive this man properly? And, you know, it was also her saying goodbye to that significant other, and I'm going to be able to move on now.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. So then they proceed on, and at some point, and as they're getting ready to be in Oakland, Lucky tells Justice that he has a daughter. And she almost seemed like she was trying to get upset about it, but it didn't fully go to that level, because it wouldn't have made sense for her to be upset, because, you know, he doesn't know you. Y'all been fighting this whole time.
But I think it was, yes, I agree. But I think it was also interrupted by the fact that they had made it to the cousin's house.
That too. Yes. I agree.
Yeah. She's like, we done been intimate, all this kind of stuff. You just not telling me. But at the reality, like, when was he gonna tell you, Justice?
Right.
Calm down.
Yes.
Calm down.
Yeah, because y'all had been bantering before then.
Okay.
So
the whole 24 hours.
Right.
The whole time. So then they pull up, and we learn that Lucky's cousin has actually been shot and killed, and he's just kind of sprawled out on the gurney, and they're not uncovered. His mother's, you know, of course, understandably so, in hysterics because her son is now deceased.
Yeah.
And he's trying to console his aunt, and, you know, he's trying to get people to move back and cover him up. And, you know, it was just a really sad scene.
Yeah. It goes back to what we talked about in Black Grief session. You know, we're constantly being re-traumatized by seeing these Black bodies. We're constantly seeing the death, where there's no forward movement in that area of justice, and it's like one thing after another. His friend, he found out earlier in the movie, just got gunned down, and that's okay, and then he done beat somebody up the next few minutes. Then he done got rid of his homeboy because he over here beating on women.
Mm-hmm.
Now his cousin, it's just like one thing after the other.
Yeah. Man, it was really sad. So then they drop they drop Justice and Isha off at the hotel, and we see Jessie and her whole little crew.
With her nosy self.
Mm-hmm. And here you know, as Justice is getting out of the vehicle, or no, she's out of the vehicle, he gets upset. You know, he's just kind of in his head about things, and he has a little of a moment where he kind of flips and change, and you know, essentially blames Justice as for the reason why he wasn't there to be with his cousin on time.
Yeah.
But you could definitely tell, but before he drove off, that he knew that he said the wrong thing, like how we was talking about earlier, that he went too far.
Yeah. Because she was shocked, for one, that he said that.
Because she had been trying to comfort him
the whole time, which says so much about her. To her still being in a state of grief and then being able to be there for him and comfort him shows, you know, how good she actually has her emotions intact.
Yeah. Because she actually gave him space. She didn't say it's going to be okay. She wasn't talking to him. Like, she was just really giving him a chance to just sit there and be in whatever emotion he was in at the time.
And giving him that physical touch that may have been comforting.
Yeah. I think what was, you know, weird about his statement that it's her fault, when the reality, okay, no, it wasn't her fault. It was technically your fault most of the time because you the one was doing all the stopping because you drove. But also if you would have been there, you would have probably got gunned down too, or you would have had, you know, survivor's guilt like Dr. Strickland was talking about earlier. It's just, murder is just not an easy pill to swallow ever.
It's not. And then we see a little bit of back and forth here where, you know, Justice and Isha are at the hotel getting some bad advice all over again from Jessie and her crew. And I was like, yeah, I hope they don't listen to that. But I don't really think there's much else to say there other than they were just getting bad advice about men.
Well, other than Jessie got a little attitude when Justice put that boundary up. You know, you don't really know what you're talking about.
You don't know your cooch from your something.
Hole in the wall.
Oh, hole in the wall.
And it's like, but ma'am, do you?
Right. Because you talking about something, I just dress and rest. What does that, ma'am? Get out.
It mean you superficial and you hiding behind material things because you don't want to get hurt again.
Ooh, burn.
Bitterness.
That's another burn. But then, so we have a scene where the next morning, Lucky and his cousin's family are having breakfast, and, you know, they're talking about, you know, she's so glad. The mom is saying how glad she is that he's there, and they know that he was, you know, there for his cousin and all that time. And then he asks about the recording equipment, and while the sister was acting a little stanky, but about the equipment, I really did like that the family gave it to him and, you know, allowed him to take that legacy on.
Yeah.
And I thought it was, you know, it's also poignant that it's Tupac,
right?
Because he is actually, you know, a rapper. And, you know, I did like that they didn't hoard it. They weren't angry that he asked for it. Like it made sense to them why he would ask for it.
Yeah.
And that they went through with that.
Yeah. I also like that this was a great representation of a black man and black woman supporting each other through their grief. His aunt, uncle, and him being supportive of her and, you know, come sit down, like you're running yourself ragged, because, you know, a lot of times you don't see that in situations like this. You get the highly emotional woman and then the man is void of anything.
Yeah. And I mean, even though the sister seemed like she was in shock, and attitudinal toward Lucky, she was aware that she needed to step in to help her mom when her mom asked.
True. Yeah. She did not give any pushback.
Right.
So she did fall in line. So then after that, we get a scene that's really interesting where we're back at the salon, because this is basically the tail end of the movie now. We're back at the salon and we see these two ladies over there bickering and talking all kind of noise to this other woman who appears to be sleeping with the other lady's man. But she don't care though.
At all. She first of all, she minding the business.
We just
Right,
gonna
that's
call her
first thing.
Orange Dress. Orange Dress did not care at all that she was sleeping with this dude's this woman's man. But I was like, why are y'all? First of all, why are you even talking to her like that? Because you really need to be checking your man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, it don't seem like Orange Dress knew that he had nobody, but you wasn't about to check me in front of everybody.
Right.
And she got her together too.
She gathered her.
To by herself. It was two of them, and it was one of her.
Yeah.
And then proceeded to walk on out. I don't need to get my hair done. You ain't about to disrespect me.
Exactly.
But as this is happening, in walks Lucky with
Keisha and her hair toe up,
And then-
as only a father.
And
could
then
do.
Justice with her pretty smile.
She's just got the best smile.
I know.
Oh yeah, we totally skipped over the part where we show the transition of her from wearing black to wearing
Oh yes.
Yeah.
white.
Yeah.
So right before this scene.
Right before the scene, we see a little bit of this transition in. Earlier in the movie, they comment on how she just dresses in dark clothing all the time, like she's mourning all the time,
And a hat.
and now she put her little box braids up and her little tie head scarf thing, and she's wearing her little white crop top, and you can see now we're not gonna get into all the visualizations and how film does dark versus light, but we just gonna keep it with the real traditional that black is mourning and white is renewal.
Yeah.
But so she's now wearing white to basically visually symbolize that she's at a different place in life. So
something else that I was just sitting here thinking about when she was laying on that bed playing with we just gonna call them the mammy dolls because that's what they look like. That could also symbolize the putting away of old things, letting go of the childish things or the things that kept you back, with her letting the dolls go, getting out of the bed, picking a new outfit, and choosing to choose her future.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you can see she's so happy when he walks in. And we had talked about this, previously, that it didn't seem like she had any ill will towards him. That she
was
understood.
just waiting.
Yeah.
She understood that where he was in a state of shock and something tragic had just happened, and that you're not going to be in your best state of mind at that time. So she did not.
But she also didn't overcompensate and
She
chase
didn't.
that man down. She's like, oh, he gonna have to
That's
make
true.
it right.
True. I agree with that as well. And then, of course, she, plays with him a little bit, because the little girl hair is just all over the place, looking like she,
He
Rat's
didn't
been
comb it.
men be trying. They try. But, they can do one ponytail and the edges be everywhere. But, so he observes her like talking to his daughter and how she, is very sweet and genuine and comforting and inviting to the little girl. And I think he could appreciate like, oh man, like this really is a quality woman. This is not, I can't come at her.
A high quality woman.
We do not have enough time to get into that.
It's a joke, y'all.
But-
Not really.
But he could see like, I have to come differently with this one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I can't treat her like I treat my baby mama.
Yeah. I appreciate
That
that
is
he
true.
apologized. It was an earnest apology. He was coming from a place, I know I messed up. Let me correct this. And I want to introduce you to the most important person in my life. So I'm coming for real. I'm not playing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was definitely evident that she accepted it because she did give him a little smooch.
Mm-hmm.
And was shy. Everybody was clapping and ooh and all this. Well, they weren't clapping. That was in my head. I was clapping. I was clapping.
They did the slow clap.
But they was like, doing the mummers and stuff like that when they were in the salon. Because, you can't hide nothing in no salon.
No. But I loved it. And we ended on that nice, pretty smile that, Miss Jackson has. Okay, but that's it, guys. So ratings.
What's the rating score? 1 to 10 stars. What we doing this time?
Let's do stars
Okay. How many stars?
out of 5.
Okay.
Okay, so y'all know I have to give her a 5 because I just love Janet, Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. So
Okay.
I think originally when we talked about this before, I think I said 3.5 or like a B+ or something like that. So after really thinking about this film, I think I'm gonna give it a 4. You know, I think there's some area of improvement, you know, but for the most part, I think it was a really good film for what it tried to convey.
Yeah. I definitely would give it a 4 because, you know, there's only a few, movies that have a 5 in my heart. But I give it a 4 because I appreciate the director going the route that he went about, you know, grief, about overcoming things, about finding your purpose, about the Black struggle. I can see so many like good things in this movie, and it was very like on point for the time. Like it was a true depiction of what was going on.
Yes,
which is very surprising because, you know, it was in the 90s, and I'm like, that's good that y'all had good movies then.
He lived it, you know. Yeah. So that was, he wanted to be authentic, and he, you know, he casted really well. You know, I said to Mabry Brothers with their fine selves, you know, they was the thugs in all of them. But yeah, I definitely, I love this film, and then it always just leaves you feeling good, and you close out with the little Janet song.
Yeah, and it didn't give you that false sense of relationships, like they didn't get married at the end, that like he apologized, and now like maybe they gonna pick back up and see where it's gonna go.
I agree. So just to close this on out, guys, next week we are doing that session live. It will be on Facebook and Instagram live at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes. So we hope you will come join us. We are so excited to meet all of our interns, new
with
and
your questions.
Old. Yes, please be in there commenting, asking us stuff, because this will be this broad session. So we don't have anything in particular that we want to talk about. We really want to connect with you guys, see what your interests are, ask you who you be with.
It's going to be a celebrate.
You know, so we want this to be a very open, fun experience. So please come join us. Again, Facebook and IG Live, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, next Wednesday, June 30th, 2021.
Yes, we still will be posting to, you know, YouTube and all that kind of stuff, but you know, we have to edit things down so it won't be as instantaneous as it normally is. And our mamas and daddies, do not be texting us while we live. Don't text us while we live.
No,
it's not gonna be there at midnight like it normally is. It's at 6, okay?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
because I know how y'all be like, oh,
I didn't see
because it's not there yet.
That is true.
Okay, so come check us out.
See y'all next week.
Must be this volume control.
So, okay, interns, process your notes. Be sure to catch us next session and find us on all major platforms at The Recycled Podcast.
If you're a new intern, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Thanks for listening. And remember, we are shifting and reshaping our psyche through healing conversations and connections, one discussion at a time.